Hey gang, and welcome to something that is new and very different for the channel. Today I'm going to be seeing if I can beat Fire Emblem the Sacred Stones with only using female characters in battle. I suppose I should have started writing the script as I was going through the game so everything of importance could be included. However, I did take notes and I have over 14 hours of recorded footage, so I think we'll be okay. If you've never played this series before, I'll be going over the core mechanics as well as a super simplified version of the story. Now, when I decided to record me playing this, for whatever reason, I didn't include much cutscenes or anything pertaining to the story. Really not the brightest decision, but we're mostly here for the gameplay and the challenge aspect of the run. Speaking of the challenge, it implies that there are rules to go along with it, and boy are there. Rule number 1 being we can only use female units in battle. Some male units may be required to be taken into the chapter, but we just can't use them for combat. Rule number 2 is that if a female can only be recruited by a male character, I'm allowed to use that male character to recruit the usable unit. Only a few instances of this in the game, however, it needed to be mentioned. Rule number 3 isn't much of a rule, just kind of a statement. Green units are units that I can recruit, but are controlled by the AI. I have no real control over them, so if a green male unit attacks an enemy, it unfortunately just is what it is. All that being said, let's get into the challenge. So the Grotto Empire just launched a surprise attack on their long-standing ally, Renee, which is unable to mount any resistance. Prince Ephraim of Renee is nowhere to be found as Grotto sweeps through each territory, and King Fado of Renee orders his trusted general, Seth, to take his daughter, Princess Erica, to safety in the neighboring Frelia. So premise of the game out of the way, and so is the sound, because I forgot to record up until Chapter 4. The tutorial level is just that, a tutorial. It's teaching you how this strategy RPG works. We only have one unit to work with, and that's Erica, who at this point is frail but has the main mechanic guiding her sword. The weapon triangle. Sword beats axe, axe beats lance, and lance beats sword. Simple mechanic, but it's what you need to win the game. So Seth trades all his items to Erica, and I put Erica on the forest in front of this boss so she can get a nice crit, stab his spleen, and get a nice first level up over here. Terrain is pretty cool. It'll help boost your defense when you're standing on something like a forest or even like a fort. We'll be using that a lot in this game. So after the enemy's first phase, Franz comes back with reinforcements. However, it's just some guy in a suit of armor, so we can't use him. It's time to clean up with Erica. She gets several level ups in this chapter, some of which being pretty good. This one a little more defensive, and this one a little more offensive, if you will. So yeah, she's stabbing away. She's getting some decent levels because of her growths, but you know what's not decent is that 71 missing. However, she makes up for it with another spleen-hitting critical hit. So after rescuing his daughter, who definitely won't be showing up in Chapter 9, the King of Frelia gives Erica 5,000 gold and 2 units to aid in her cause. Mulder, a man of the church, and Vanessa, a green-haired Pegasus Knight. Finally, another unit we're able to use aside from Erica. This is the first chapter to deal with the green ally units, and wouldn't you know it, they're both men. I have Erica start out by visiting the village, which is a Fire Emblem staple. Villages often give decent items if you're able to make it to them before brigands or pirates. Vanessa doesn't really get a chance to shine here. She's working against the weapon triangle, and she's really vulnerable to being hit by any arrows. So she's a great unit, just not for right now. I did have a close run-in over here with a brigand almost reaching the boys, but Vanessa did manage to stop it, which was super sick to see. As you can see, I recruited Ross and Garcia. The reason for that is I'll tell you in Chapter 4, so get off my back. Erica chunks away the boss, but doesn't kill him, letting Vanessa come in to grab a little extra experience from landing the killing blow, but from also killing the boss. So you'll get a little bit more experience for things like that. In the middle of the night, Erica gets her bracelet stolen and ends up at a bandit hideout with the help of a local, Niemi. She's a young archer who's very emotional. Starts off down bad, though, by missing this 87% chance to hit. Like, girlfriend, are you kidding me? Come on. Not looking good for her right now. I recruit Niemi's childhood friend, Colm, who is a thief we can't use, but do it for the same reason as Ross and Garcia. There's 4 chests on this map, but with no thief and only 1 brigand having a chest key, it's really more useful to save that, because we won't get a consistent means to open chests until much later. We finally start breaking through the walls and making some progress. Niemi takes out some brigands, getting a subpar level up. Vanessa gets one too. And we're going to need Erica to beat the boss, because of course, sword. Funnily enough, Erica doesn't get hit with 1, but 2 26% chances. You really don't see that every day, so it's kind of nutty. But this guy's got the thrown bonus, so, you know, we've got a less chance to hit. And finally, the music's back. Oh my god, it's something to listen to. I suppose it's time to explain myself on why I've been recruiting the units I can't use. It was all to be able to pick the units that go into battle. The faster I'm able to choose, the quicker the challenge kind of starts. However, this chapter is the first inclusion of the mandatory units. Even though I'm able to pick, Ardor must tag along on this chapter. I'm still not going to use him in battle, but it's out of my control that he comes. I start off by dropping him in the mountains, where most of the enemies can't reach. And with only having 3 usable units, the amount of monsters we have to defeat seems daunting, but Erica's already level 10, and their stats are generally pretty crap. So having Vanessa visit this village to the southwest grants us a new unit, Lute, a very powerful mage and a great addition to the team. I have her go up against the boss because she needs to catch up in levels. I believe she starts at level 1, which isn't too great. Now she's level 3, and she's looking a little bit better off than she was before. On to the next chapter, it's more usable units. Natasha's a cleric from Grotto, but she doesn't agree with the war that her emperor started. So she joins our cause, giving our vulneraries a rest. Having Vanessa visit the village directly to the right of us gives the team their first permanent stat-boosting item, the Dragon Shield. Whoever uses it gains 2 additional defense, very helpful, but I usually decide to wait on using these items until we need them, which is, I guess, going to be in the late game. So originally, I thought moving Lute up past these stairs was a mistake. As soon as I pressed the A button to kill this guy, I literally thought she was dead. You know, she's left wide open with fairly low defense. However, it paid off in spades, baby. One archer went for a natty, and she dodged like a champion. She felt really good. I'm like, okay, Naomi's definitely going to... I'm sorry, Lute's definitely going to survive then. So she also dodges this one, doesn't really matter, and we need to recruit Joshua. It sounds weird, I know, like needing to recruit him, but the weapon that he has is a killing edge, and let me tell you, that would literally murder any unit that we have here now. Luckily, he doesn't attack Natasha upon arrival, so, you know, that's always good. Also, do you see those 2 low% javelins hitting? Like, that's never going to happen again. Easternmost house has an armor slayer. Erica's rapier is better, but for when that runs out, or even to give it to another unit. The middle house has a secret book, which, much like the dragon's shield, except it raises skill by 2 points. And in the top, you get a torch, but it's useful in the next chapter, but definitely the least useful of the 4 houses. Erica, again, cleaning up with the rapier. Spleen stabber right there, baby. And if you visit all the houses, you will receive a guiding ring, which allows you to class up your magical units like Lute and Natasha. So something else Fire Emblem is known for is their side chapters. It's an additional, sometimes optional chapter for extra plot items and so forth. Unfortunately, this chapter is all about Erica's brother Ephraim and his sausage fest of a group, so while we need to beat the chapter, let's just skip it as there's no women in this party. Ah, the fog of war. Nothing like not being able to see what or where your enemies are. Erica uses the torch so we have some visibility. However, this is when the abuse starts. Almost everyone took damage from this round, and that's not great, because I either have to take a turn to heal or attack and hope I don't get hit next turn. Vanessa being on the fort recovers some HP, which any amount helps, but the next enemy phase, Vanessa gets seriously lucky dodge after dodge of what would be certain death. Luke gets one too, thankfully dodging this spear to the head. And as you can see, there's another phase, so we need to save all those people. I have the misplay of the century, doing some damage calcs, wanted Lute to attack that cavalier, but I misplayed and end my turn. So, Lute almost died. Luckily, the Iron Blade is not as strong as you would, you know, hope for it to be. And woo, there we go. I give Niemi the boss kill here because, after all, it's her class-up item that we get at the end, so that was pretty cool. This next chapter is super cakey. You're going to see a lot of level ups here because that's literally all that happened, is we just walked the path, got the levels, beat the units, there we go. There is a ballista here which you do need to watch out for with Vanessa because that can take her down. Maybe not in one hit now because she's leveled up a bunch, but if you are using other units as well, she will get knocked the hell out. Luke getting some levels here. Natasha got her first level too, and it's really good that she got magic because that determines how much she heals. A heal staff is 10 HP plus your magic level, so very useful. After coming to the fort where Ephraim is being held, Erica meets up with Orson, who basically scammed everybody. So Ephraim shows up over here, and of course we need to rush over there to help him. Vanessa gets a nice level up, and luckily for her, she gets her class up item here, but unlucky for her, I'm an idiot. So I get her to a ripe level 15, and I just let it get stolen. I was so close to resetting here, but I opted not to. I'm like, we're going to be getting another item in the near future, so I figured I'd let it go, and it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. We got that stolen. Vanessa, unfortunately, has to stay on her Pegasus for a little bit longer. Nice 10k war fund right there. That's fat. Thank you. So, obviously, we have to go with Erica here because she is, you know, best girl. The split path unlocks the Tower of Volney, and I have to limit the usage of this as it's really easy to become over-leveled very quickly here. Chapter 9. I start by bringing our newly obtained Pegasus Knight, Taina, over into the water with Vanessa. Their movement is honestly sublime and makes getting both the village in this chapter a breeze. Our levels are getting high with the exception of Natty and Taina, and speaking of which, she's about to get hit for 17 of her 20 HP. But I need to solidify this house because it has a monumental item in it. Another rapier for Erica, so we obviously have to get that. Amelia appears, and she can be quite difficult to talk to. I just had to have her face off against Taina because Taina is the weakest unit that we have here, and she won't double attack. Luckily, so we can keep Amelia alive to recruit her. Now, unfortunately, she is too weak right now. We're going to have to take a trip to the tower before she's really ready to join the rest of us. Her lance training is going to serve its purpose for now, but I have something in mind for her much later down the road. That's going to be very important. Niemi class up time. Mobility is the word of the day here, kids. I thought making her a ranger would be better because she's on a horse, she can move more, and she also has the additional sword that she can use. So, you know, she can actually deal with up-close fights. But I'm thinking that I would much rather have a sniper. If I was going to go back and do this, I'd love to see the difference it would make. You visit both the houses and get an angelic robe. Very important. We'll use that later. But now, it's time to take a trip to the tower, baby, and get Amelia up. This is all from one floor. Like I said, I really tried to limit the use. I need to get her to level 10. And getting her to level 10 with a very good level up, by the way, gets loot. The guiding ring to become a sage. Now again, I wanted the mobility from the Mage Knight, but I know sages have a higher magic stat cap. So I thought that would be a little bit better for our situation. And she also gets the use of light magic, which isn't really that useful, but it's, you know, it's something else too. So I had to take another trip into the tower so Amelia could level up. She's becoming a cavalier because, you guessed it, mobility! But at the end of it, she gets to level 5, and then we are on to the next chapter, which of course I mess up and don't record halfway through. But we need Jarek over here to talk to Marissa, who is a unit we can get. She was working under him until recently and got sent up on the wrong mission or something like that. We have another sword-using unit, and it feels good to have. Loot! MVP, again, of course, here she is. She's taking care of Pablo. He's very magical, and I believe he often has a chance to crit. Most of your units are not going to be good, unlike Loot, who is a god. So here we go, baby. Another Fog of War chapter. This one has 2 green ally units, one of which we can recruit. Rachel, who's a troubadour. She's a little nutty, but, you know, she's pretty cool. Her bodyguard Daza takes good care of her, so that's alright. Loot lights up the place, which it really helps to see, and the easternmost chest contains a secret book, which is more skill, so always good. I recruit Rachel and train up Marissa, so, you know. Alright, she gets a little strength, a little defense. Natty gets level 10, which is really good because she can use that guiding ring we got now, but not until I take the time to train up my Healy Girls and Tethys. This is, like, really busted right here, because you can just have this one unit going in for attacking on a unit that can't retaliate, and then, you know, you can just keep healing them, dancing with them, healing with them, dancing with them. It's a little busted, but I only did it for a few levels. Natasha becomes a bishop. They have access to the Slayer skill, which is very good in this game. It actually deals more damage to the monster-type units like this. Yes, now that she can retaliate, she retaliates stronger against monsters. Always a good time. I have Amelia, you know, clean up the boss so she can get this level up. It's coming up on her class change. Her secret mission is coming! Chapter 12 has our crew climbing up a mountain with this sage guide named Saleh, who is required to be present for the mission. So I give Natty one of our 2 dragon shields after thinking about it for a considerable amount of time. And most of these chapters with the monsters as enemies are pretty easy due to their generally low defense. We get a barrier staff from one of the houses. Ewan is a penis, so we can't use him. But Amelia becomes a great knight. Now the reason for this is because we never had access to axes up until now. Now that she can use an axe, that's all that's going to be able to be in her hand. In between chapters, I promote Marissa into an assassin. This gives us access to lockpicks. Thank goodness, because now I don't have to worry about using door keys or chest keys. I can open any chest I want. Every chest for the rest of the game. Chapter 13 is a survive chapter. Either survive until 11 turns is over or beat the boss. So obviously I have to do both because, you know, why not? I recruit Cormag with Erica because he has the Elysian Whip that I had stolen from me. So obviously we're going to need that. Yeah, so as you can see here, Amelia's got the axe, she's got the hatchet. Pablo comes back from the dead for some reason. He's like, yeah, hey, I'm here again. I didn't die, I'm just old. I just threw my back out. He's got some long-range bolting magic, but it doesn't really matter because that old bastard runs away and tries to heal up a mage. We just take our winged ponies and head on over the mountain range and stab him. Pretty good. Tana takes him out, so you know that's always good. I don't know why. Good. Good. Loot burns this man Aes into the ground, dog. Literally melted him, and we get another $5,000 war fund, baby. Now that chests are no longer an issue, I have Rissa go with Amelia and Tethys to the bottom left-hand side over here to get that energy ring. Erica grabs a guiding ring, and then we get, I think, a dragon spear from that chest. Tethys gets a monumental level up. And then Riss gets another 10k for us. Looking really good over here. Here we go. Vanessa trading in her Pegasus for a dragon. Super worth it in my opinion because of the Pierce ability. I don't know if it's ability or skill. I think it's ability. But Pierce has the chance to negate defense. It's really insane. It can lead to a lot of damage. So we needed to recruit Renak so we can get his member card for the secret shop. And also, MVP loot, again, facing off against Carlisle over here. A spear and a hammer were in those chests to the right, as you saw. Carlisle, very, very difficult to deal with up close and personal, but honestly, loot just breathes fire at his face, and we take him down. And speaking of down goes our wallet, as we mostly buy killing weapons and physics staves for long-range healing. Honestly, physics staves are probably like the most important ones to get. We get a couple of those. Alright, after shopping, we get 2 sacred weapons, which we're going to be using fairly shortly. And on to Chapter 15. Supports are a fairly major part of the game, and it's weird to be seeing the first one now, and it's with Erica and LaRachel. But Ephraim shows up in the bottom left-hand corner, so we really got to get over there. LaRachel classes up into a Valkyrie over here. She's able to retaliate. And who else but MVP Loot Man is coming in to help take care of Kalik, who has probably the hardest name to say in this freaking game, or to pronounce when you first see it. I used to call him Kaliach, but I'm like, that's not right. So I looked it up, and it's Kalik. Kalik like Gaelic, baby. Of course, Loot takes him down. We get a Hoplon guard from him, which negates critical hits. It's alright. The one that Valter gives us is better, but we'll see that in just a moment, because first we gotta dig through the sand, baby. Lots of items hidden here. We get the important ones like the Swift Souls and the Silver card, but anything else, and it's just a unique weapon, a weird staff, or a stat increasing item. Alright, Amelia already chunking with this Iron Axe, who I just noticed could have probably died if Vulture got a Pierce off. But luckily he didn't, so, you know, whatever works. Marissa coming in clutch with that Worm Slayer freaking critical hit. Now we get a Philly Shield and 2 more of our Sacred Weapons. Tethys now has slick cowboy boots that are glued to her feet, letting her move 7 tiles instead of 5. And Tana becomes our second Wyvern Knight. Pierce is seriously that good. We cannot pass it up. Falco Knights are kind of booty butt, so we're going in for the dragons. After we storm our own castle, Lute is fascinated by Vanessa's Pegasus, which technically should be a dragon at this point, so I really don't know what's up with her. We get access to our busted instant win unit, Myrrh. She's a Manakee and has massive growth rates. Riss steals, or I guess reclaims, a Tomahawk, and Orson explains why he betrayed us, because he wanted his dead wife back or something. Erica's obviously got to put his ass down, because she needs to reclaim the throne. Orson's not too strong, he just has really good weapons. The spear is super powerful, and he also has a silver spear, I suppose. He hits with his precious 64, and look at Erica, missing with that 70, missing with the second 70, you just can't make that shit up. A Knight's Crest is over here in the chest. Vanessa cleans up Orson because he is looking haggard, dude. You get a Talisman, and there's also 5k in the chest over there. It's time for Erica to class up. She gets this... She gets the point she's always wanted, and also pop her Sacred Weapon. Okay, I don't know what I meant to right there. Erica classes up. Gets the pony she's always wanted, and also got her Sacred Weapon. Oh my god. There we go. The next few chapters are really for grinding up some extra levels before the final difficult bosses. So we move Myrrh over to deal with the 4 heroes to the right, and Amelia still needs to get her axe weapon level higher, so we have her go to the northwest side of the map. This chapter also has the last obtainable unit in the main game, Serene. She's a Falco Knight from Frelia, and lucky for us, we can use her, because she's a girl. But unlucky for us, she really isn't that great. Most of the pre-promoted units are either insanely good or, at the very least, helpful. But Serene is kind of like a flying mouse, using a toothpick. Not good, in other words. Anyway, fast chapter done. Erica runs up to try to greet her old friend, who is possessed, by the way, if you couldn't tell from his black text box. So he casts one of the longest black magic animations over here, Fenrir. Woo! Of course that's got to hit. But Erica goes in for the neck chop, you know? She's really got to hit it off. She's like, let me take your pulse. We can finish him off with the Sigleen, you know, we get that instant 15 damage, and he's got 14 HP, so see you later, mate. Easy chapter, and it's time for some more Sacred Weapons. With a near-perfect level up, Erica gets 2 more Sacred Weapons, and because she's just such a pure-hearted, forthright spirit, the villagers feel like they owe her something, and of course they don't, but she'll gladly accept the rescue staff that they're going to give her. It's going to be pretty useful. It actually helps us out in one of the next chapters, but the Demon Eggs in this one grant 50 experience per kill, so it's a great chapter to catch up any unit. Natty was obviously holding out on some of that Grotto Kush because she's got Stone from a 17% chance. Had Rachel grab her Restore Staff, and hopefully Natty can stay sober enough to get through this chapter. Something that rarely happens, the boss moved and tried to get Natty to smoke some more of the Demon King's lettuce, but she politely declined. Once we retaliate, though, Natty gives in to temptation and takes a little puff pass. I knew those Gorgons were always a bad influence. Now it's time to use all of our stat boosting items. Niemi gets a Dragon Shield, Natty puts on an Energy Ring, Rachel dons an Angelic Robe. The second Energy Ring is for loot. Vanessa crams her brain with 2 secret books. Myrrh puts a little pep in her step with the Speed Wing, and finally Niemi prays to the Goddess Icon. Roston Castle is huge, and some of our units are going to be spread out, which I really don't like. There's a lot of chests around, you might want to snag some. You get the Fortify Staff, 5,000, and a Bolting Tome, which could come in handy. All on the right side. And now we need to scurry Rissa off to the left side to get more chests. So Amelia and Erica were doing great as the main cannon fodder, but then here comes Random Archer hitting a 30% chance to literally devastate Vanessa. I really should have given her the Philly Shield. I don't know why I didn't. Serene comes into another Silver Arrow situation, but now that we're getting all of these chests, last one being a Rune Sword, which is pretty solid, it's time to get Natty her best weapon by sending Myrrh up against Riev. Myrrh easily takes this man down. He literally can't do damage to her. She can become super overpowered so long as you give her, like, 3 or 4 level ups, because she'll, like, barely be touched anymore. Aura does more damage than the Light Magic Sacred Stone that we're seeing right here, if the user is a bishop and that is attacking a monster-type unit. We get another 10,000 gold and use the Speedwing on Natasha, and I start the chapter. Marissa and Natty don't have their required weapon levels yet. I take this time to put them on the front lines and try to give Rissa an S in swords and Natty an A in light magic. I honestly forgot about Riev's placement. He got a nice attack off. Luckily it misses, so thank you, Vanessa, for literally fixing me up. Marissa gets a pretty sweet crit, and luckily masters her swordplay right after that. And now it's time for Lute to rain down lightning. First, we attack Morva, taking 21 damage. Luckily, that hits. Bolting doesn't have the greatest accuracy, but it can certainly chunk. Very nice. Almost half of Riev's health just gone right there with one hit. This lets Vanessa kind of swoop in and just take him out with our sacred weapon, because they're honestly too powerful at this point. Alright, Vanessa pierces his head. Riev's laughing because it's too late to stop it! The one true demon will rise! It's like, alright, man, good for you. Miemi gets a little lucky with that longbow critical hit. No retaliation from Morva. She's too far away, so that's always good. These dragons are honestly a little powerful, and of course they just throw them at you right at the end of the game. But Vanessa pulls off a nice living with 1 HP. Gotta love that. So she gets a level up, and honestly, there's a lot more enemies that spawn in this chapter, so it's pretty good to just kind of... Sorry, I had to stop and wait because I love how the music just turns off. But a lot of enemies just kind of spawn, so this is really good to get a little extra experience. As you can see, we're going to be getting quite a few extra level ups here. I think Marissa here will be our last one, but level 15 is pretty solid, dude. Since this is the last chapter, we're expected to bring Ephraim along, and it just works out that we can't bring Serene because of it. Honestly, we're not missing out on too much. Like I said, she kind of sucks. Right off the bat, I have to say, I love the colors for this place. It's an abandoned tomb, the purple floor, the teal pillars. It's amazing. Myrrh goes for the left side chest containing a Master Seal. Terrible item for this late into the game, honestly. If you're bringing any unclassed unit into this chapter, do yourself a favor, don't. That Bolting Tome really clearing the path for us a little bit, weakening the dragon and clearing out the Gorgon from that other chest room. They're a lot tougher than they look, these dragons, and honestly, Vanessa finally decides to show me that she can pierce this mofo. Too bad he only had 4 HP, so, you know. We get the most important item in this run right there, the Angelic Robe, and I just sped up right there, but Natasha could have just died from that. That crit right there would have killed her if it was a crit. So with the last bolting, I have Lute fire it off at Leon. Honestly, only doing 9 damage isn't that great, but he's such a defensive freaking monster that anything works. As you can see, we just gave Lute MVP the Angelic Robe. Oh my god, that was pathetic. Without the Angelic Robe, Lute would not be able to survive a hit. Hell, even with the robe, she only survives with 1 HP. Leon casts an even longer animation dark magic spell. And Lute plugs in the box fan and turns it on full blast and hits him up with that. Erica, of course, had to stop Leon, but my guy's making fun of her real quick. Erica's going to take his pulse once again. My guy casting the longest spell in the world. It's okay, though, because it looks cool. Oh, little lag. Alright, check the pulse. Oh yeah, so I didn't want my units to go in with low health because once you kill Leon, you just kind of go right into the next phase of the final battle. So I have LaRachel use Latona, and it heals everybody up fully, which is really good. And look at the raw power of this Garm. 13 damage is pretty damn good, considering Erica only did 11, and that was also with a Sacred Weapon. Amelia gets the last level up of the game, I believe, and finally gets the double-digit defense, baby. That's what I'm talking about. She's been waiting for that for the whole game. She's a great knight, for Christ's sake. I really think she should have a lot of defense. We reached the end game here, and this, honestly, was such a huge undertaking. This 14 hours of footage condensed into 33 minutes was so nuts. If you made it this far, just let me know how you think I did, any ways to improve this, because I would really appreciate that. This was very fun, and I plan on doing more in the future, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute, but first we have to see the Demon King's freaking face spawn up. His little weird-looking overworld sprite. After we move first, he summons a horde of strong monsters. He could have blocked me in, but decided to have them spawn in a vertical line? Third one right there. Thanks, I guess. Here we are. Loot is up to bat. She looks for the outlet, and she finds it, baby! She's plugging in the box fan. It's coming out. She's cranking it up to level 2. Extra win coming in. So I believe the Demon King has 120 HP. He is pretty tough. And of course, without the Angelic Robe, Loot would not be able to survive. Next up is Amelia. She has the Garm in hand. Is looking pretty good. Dealt 24 damage, has the chance to do 48. That's going to be huge. So, of course, Demon Light goes off, because why wouldn't it? And she chunks him. That's it, right there. Vanessa's next to take a stab at him.
What? What did he say?
I was really hoping for a Pierce right there, because that probably would have almost killed him, but of course it didn't. And my man just doesn't know how to miss, so he's hitting literally every single Demon Light. Oh god, oh god, oh god, what's happening? Next up is Erica, and Erica can only hit once, but she's chunking with an 18, so that brings him down to 5. Almost anyone can take him out from right now. Oh, finally a miss, though. Freaking feels good, man. Here we are. Tethys gives Loot a little pep talk, and Loot is ready to blow the competition away, baby. She is turning that box fan up to 3. She says, get out of here. And there it is, dude. The Demon King crumbles, and peace is restored to the continent of Magval once again. Very proud and impressed that we beat this game by only using the female characters. And honestly, most of the girls you'd use in a main playthrough anyway, Erica, Loot, and Natasha, they all come in really early and are beyond stellar units. Woo, baby, there it is. Like I said, the video took a really long time to make, so just let me know how you thought it went. Okay, I already said that, so what am I going to say here? At the ending, at the ending, at the ending, at the ending. Thank you so much for watching, gang. Like I said before, let me know what you thought about this, ways to improve, and if you have any challenges that you want me to do, let me know them in the comments, too. I already have the next challenge picked out. It's can we beat Fire Emblem the Sacred Stones by using characters that can only use swords. So it's going to be another Erica mode, but I really think it's going to be a decent challenge, because you really won't have too many characters. I'm looking forward to that. I hope you are too, and I will see you in another video.